Welcome to Know Your News. In this brief video, we'll discuss news literacy as well as identifying and accessing credible news sources at Collin College. Our learning objectives today are to define news literacy, to explain why it matters, and to give some guidance in finding high-quality, credible news sources. What is news literacy? Well, here's how we define a news literate person. One who can recognize the difference between news and opinion, identify misinformation, evaluate evidence using fact-checking tools, and understand the idea of cognitive bias. Cognitive bias is part of human nature. We all have a tendency to unconsciously misinterpret information based on our pre-existing beliefs and opinions. Why should you care about news literacy? Well, information influences your everyday decisions. You need good information to be an informed consumer, citizen, and voter. Living in a democracy requires an informed citizenry. Is quality news available for free? Not always. A recent challenge to the problem of news literacy is the emergence of pay-for-play websites. These are confusing websites that are masquerading as local online newspapers, but are actually owned and operated by public relations firms. Clients pay for news stories that might discredit a political candidate or promote a particular business. To someone who does not know better, they appear to be legitimate news sites. They have names like Ann Arbor Times or Des Moines Sun. The kind of work that is done by professional journalists is not quick or cheap to produce. It takes time and effort for them to research a story in depth, find sources willing to be quoted, and fact-check all the details. Their professional reputations depend on accuracy. The Society of Professional Journalists at spj.org has a code of ethics stating their abiding principles: to gather, update, and publish corrections through the life of a news story, to seek the truth and report it, to minimize harm, to act independently, denying favored treatment to advertisers, donors, or other special interests, and to be accountable and transparent, acknowledging mistakes and correcting them promptly and prominently. Their complete code of ethics is available at www.spj.org/ethicscode.asp. The News Literacy Project at newslit.org is a great place to learn more about news literacy. Newslit.org is a nonpartisan national education nonprofit. They do not tell people what sources to trust or distrust. Rather, they teach the critical thinking skills for people to make those judgments by themselves. Misinformation comes from the political right and left, and from foreign and domestic sources. There are 5 types of misinformation that are identified by the News Literacy Project: manipulated content, false context, fabricated content, imposter content, and satire. First, let's look at manipulated content. which is just one type of misinformation to watch out for. This image went viral in 2012 when photo editing tools were used to tamper with an original photograph of the Statue of Liberty to supposedly show Hurricane Sandy. But the cloud images actually came from a different storm, which was photographed by a storm chaser in Nebraska in 2004. Snopes.com was the website that debunked this manipulated photo. If you're trying to confirm whether a news story or a photograph is false, Snopes.com is a very useful tool to use. False context. False context means putting a quote or an image into false context to change its meaning. Here's an example from the News Literacy Project of a video that circulated on Twitter, supposedly depicting athletes collapsing after receiving the COVID vaccine. But it was proven to be a video montage of athletes collapsing for other reasons, such as heat exhaustion or dehydration. Next, let's look at fabricated content. Here's an example. Fabricated content is something that is completely made up. Always consider the source when you see a news item that seems blatantly false or fake. Reputable news sources will back up their stories with substantive evidence. So in this example, we see a supermarket tabloid with the headline, "Elvis's 7 Secret Love Children Found." So we can pretty much know that this is not an accurate story. This is fabricated content. Imposter content. Imposter content is yet another type of misinformation. In this case, it means impersonating or assuming a well-known person's name or a logo or a brand to fool people. In August of 2017, this image of a fake promotion at Starbucks went viral, offering discounts to undocumented immigrants. Starbucks had to take steps to refute this fake marketing image. So we see in this ad, it says Starbucks Dreamer Day, August 11th. All undocumented Americans will receive any item on the Starbucks menu 40% off. So that's an example of imposter content. Finally, satire. Satire is a way to mock or ridicule a person, an organization, or a policy. Here is a satirical Twitter account for the Queen of England. It clearly states parody/satire in the Twitter bio, which makes it less likely to be a source of true misinformation. How does misinformation spread? Keep in mind that human emotion plays a huge role in this. When we have a strong emotional reaction to something we see or hear, we are more inclined to impulsively share or comment before we have confirmed whether the news item is factual. We all have confirmation bias, or a tendency to believe any new information that confirms our existing viewpoints. Why is misinformation created in the first place? Misinformation, as we have seen, is a way to create mischief, causing division and confusion for financial gain and to promote political viewpoints. It also undermines the public trust in all news sources and institutions. Why do librarians care about this? Librarians are very interested in how people engage with technology and how people seek and use information. Being information literate means being able to find information, critically evaluate it, and use it responsibly. The American Library Association promotes intellectual freedom, and they advocate that everyone should check facts, know where facts come from, understand that all data comes from a source, which probably has a bias. Everyone should know how to find diverse points of view, know the difference between fact and opinion, and know how to use various types of information and technology. Here are some great resources for building your news literacy and stopping the spread of misinformation. Snopes.com, as previously mentioned, has long been a good place to debunk urban myths and fake news. FactCheck.org from the University of Pennsylvania and PolitiFact.org from the Poynter Institute are other useful places to check the veracity of news stories. Did you know that you can be a fact checker with just a few clicks on your phone? Reverse image searching is a great way to fact check any suspicious images that you see on the web to learn which sites may have already shared the same image. For Android devices, simply use Google Lens in the Google app. On iPhones, open the Chrome browser and tap the three dots at the bottom right. Then scroll down and tap Request Desktop Site. For iPhone users, once you're looking at the desktop site for Google, click Images, and then click on the little tiny camera icon in the search bar. Then you can paste in a web address for an image or upload a saved image from your phone. This will retrieve close matches to the photo, and you can see whether a photo has been used for more than one purpose. The Collin College libraries can provide you with a variety of credible news sources available in CougarWeb. The Collin Library databases can be used to find articles from credible newspapers, magazines, and scholarly journals. Ask a librarian for help. You can also read printed newspapers in the Collin College libraries. More people are using online newspapers instead of printed ones. Newsweek magazine and U.S. News and World Report have gone mostly digital, but subscribers can pay for a print version to be delivered. If you see a dubious-looking article online, you can use a variety of tools to verify whether the information is factual. In addition to fact-checking websites, there are also library reference books and journals that you can use to look up information and compare it to what you found online. We're always happy to help. The Collin Library databases have credible online reference tools that you can use to look up statistics and more. CQ Researcher, the Statistical Abstract of the United States, and the RAND database all have statistical data. Finally, there is a lot that you can do to promote news literacy. First, always check your news sources. Are they reputable and trustworthy? Secondly, take a minute to double-check your facts before you share something that appeals to your emotions. And finally, when you spot misinformation, call it out for what it is. The Informable app is a free and fun game from the News Literacy Project that you can play on your phone to practice your skills at spotting advertising, distinguishing news from opinion, detecting faulty evidence, and identifying fact-based and opinion-based statements. Give it a try. We hope this has helped you to know your news. To get direct links to our Collin Library's news databases, visit our LibGuide page, collin.libguides.com/newspapers. Thanks for watching, and good luck with your research.